Did you know that a black poet published a book of poetry before the United States even existed? Black history is full of surprises, achievements, and struggles often left out of mainstream narratives. Today, we are diving deep into some lesser-known yet incredibly important facts about Black history, spanning from the African continent to the Americas, to test your knowledge and reveal the complexities of this vital story. Let's begin at the very beginning, with a look at the deep roots of Black literary tradition. Long before the Harlem Renaissance, before even the United States itself declared independence, there was Phyllis Wheatley. Born in West Africa, most likely in present-day Gambia, around 1753, she was enslaved and brought to Boston at the tender age of 7. Despite the immense obstacles she faced, Wheatley learned to read and write, mastering English and classical literature. In 1773, she published poems on various subjects, religious and moral, becoming the first African American to publish a book of poetry. But Wheatley wasn't alone. Even earlier, in 1746, Lucy Terry wrote Bass Fight, a ballad describing an attack on settlers by Native Americans. While Bass Fight wasn't published until much later, it stands as the earliest known poem by a Black American, a testament to the enduring power of storytelling and resilience in the face of adversity. The transatlantic slave trade is a dark chapter in human history, forcing millions of Africans into bondage and scattering them across the Americas. This forced migration created the African diaspora, one of the largest and most consequential population displacements in history. But did you know about the efforts to link the diaspora back to Africa? In 1815, Paul Coffey, a black ship captain and activist, transported 38 free African Americans to Sierra Leone. This act connected black abolitionists taught in the United States to African colonization and resettlement projects, revealing a complex and often overlooked aspect of Black history. The U.S. Civil War is often seen as the turning point in the fight against slavery, but the contributions of African Americans to the Union War effort are frequently understated. During the war, approximately 178,000 African Americans served in the Union Army, and an additional 200,000 free black people and formerly enslaved people served in the Union Army and Navy. Their service was crucial to the Union victory and helped pave the way for the abolition of slavery. The 13th Amendment, ratified in 1865, officially abolished slavery in the United States, except as punishment for a crime. However, the end of slavery did not mean the end of racial oppression. Reconstruction, the period following the Civil War, aimed to rebuild the South and integrate formerly enslaved people into society. Hiram Rhodes Revels became the first African American elected to the U.S. Senate in 1870, symbolizing the promise of Reconstruction. Despite this progress, Reconstruction was ultimately undermined by white supremacist violence and political maneuvering. The rise of Jim Crow laws in the late 19th and early 20th centuries entrenched racial segregation and inequality across the South. These state and local laws, enforced roughly from 1876 to 1965, affected every aspect of Black life, from education and employment to housing and transportation. But even in the face of Jim Crow, Black communities found ways to thrive and build institutions dedicated to self-determination. Allensworth, California, founded in 1908 by Lieutenant Colonel Alan Allensworth, was an all-black town built to provide refuge from racial discrimination and foster economic independence. Black people also innovated and invented in the face of discrimination. Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight boxing champion in 1908, also patented a wrench in 1922. Garrett Morgan, inventor of the three-way traffic signal, was also the first African American to own a car in Cleveland. Before the Civil Rights Movement, before Rosa Parks, there was Claudette Colden. 9 months. Before Rosa Parks' famous act of defiance, Colden, a 15-year-old girl, refused to give up her bus seat in Montgomery, Alabama. Her act of courage helped lay the groundwork for the Montgomery bus boycott, a pivotal moment in the Civil Rights Movement. And speaking of unsung heroes, Shirley Chisholm broke barriers in the political arena, becoming the first black woman elected to the U.S. Congress in 1968 and later the first black candidate for a major party presidential nomination. Black institutions played a crucial role in fostering community, education, and activism. Alpha Phi Alpha, founded in 1906 at Cornell University, was the first black male Greek letter fraternity, while Alpha Kappa Alpha, founded in 1908 at Howard University, was the oldest black female Greek letter sorority. These organizations provided social support, leadership development, and a platform for advocacy. Recognizing the systemic erasure of black contributions from mainstream history, Carter G. Woodson established Negro History Week in 1926. He chose the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, two figures who played significant roles in the fight against slavery. Negro History Week eventually evolved into Black History Month in 1976, a time to celebrate and commemorate the achievements of black people throughout history. The Negro Motorist Green Book, published from 1936 to 1966, documented safe travel and businesses for black Americans during segregation. This essential guide helped black travelers navigate a landscape of discrimination and danger, providing a sense of security and community. Even during war, black contributions were often overlooked. Black U.S. soldiers in World War I were recognized by the French decades before the U.S. formally honored them with a Congressional Gold Medal in 2019. The history of black people in the Americas is inextricably linked to Africa, particularly West and Central Africa, the regions most affected by the transatlantic slave trade. The legacy of colonialism and racial capitalism continues to shape both black communities in the diaspora and African nations. Modern African nationalism, Pan-African thought, and diaspora politics grew from the shared experience of exploitation and resistance. From Sierra Leone, a destination for freed black settlers, to the ongoing struggle for racial justice in the United States, black history is a global story of resilience, innovation, and the pursuit of equality. How much of this history did you already know? What surprised you the most? Share your thoughts and let's continue this important conversation.